Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Heroes Connect Military to Manufacturing event, where we are talking with manufacturing companies who value your talent. Let me first introduce myself. My name's Katie, and I'm with the Heroes Make America program, and I'll be moderating today's event. So today we're highlighting the Plastics Pipe Institute and one of their member companies, Lane Enterprises. Although you may not have heard of them, you just might have used one of their products without ever even knowing it. We're here today to not only connect you as a job seeker with employers who are actively looking to hire, but more importantly, we help to aim our, educate our broader military community and help them better understand the manufacturing industry as a whole. So this is a prime example of an industry subsector where we don't think about just how big of an impact they have on our lives, because the work they do is in the background to ensure the infrastructure and other things in our world move the way that they're supposed to be. And we typically don't ever see it. So I'm super excited for you to learn more about them and the company that's here today. Before we get started, let's go ahead and go over some housekeeping items. First off, the event is being recorded and will be sent out as part of a recap email that's going to be sent out a little bit later. Be sure to stay muted throughout the presentation to minimize any background noise. But lastly, although our mics are muted, I still encourage you to be an active participant. Utilize that chat feature during the presentation to drop in questions that you have, and we'll circle back to those and answer them during the Q&A portion at the end. But really, events like this are your opportunity to join in the discussion and ask questions of these industry leaders who you may not normally have access to. For those of you joining us today who may not be familiar with Heroes Make America, we are a DoD-approved SkillBridge and Army Career Skills program that is open to transitioning service members, veterans, reservists, National Guardsmen, and military spouses. We do provide a variety of certification trainings, equipping our students for rewarding careers in the manufacturing and supply chain industry. So you can see here on the left are program managers, the locations, and virtual options that we have, as well as our other current training pathways that we offer, which are in manufacturing operations, logistics, industrial systems, as well as we have an airframe and power plant class that we just started as well. In addition to those, we offer welding and CNC machining training options through a partnership that we have with Workshop for Warriors out in Southern California. So we'll drop our contact information to the chat, so you'll be able to connect with us if you do have any questions. And really, don't also forget to tell your battle buddies if you think this program may help them in their post-military career search. So make sure you share all that good information with them as well. All right, last thing I want to be sure to mention that in addition to our training offerings, we also host a variety of other events to include in-person and virtual career fairs. So you can see here the employers who are already signed up as of today, it's still a little early, for the in-person career fair this summer at Fort Hood, which is in Texas on July 22nd. So we do have more employers that will sign up over the next few months. So be sure to mark your calendar if you are in the Fort Hood area and keep an eye on that employer list as it grows. And also, even though it's even more months away, I also listed our summer virtual career fair that will happen on August 21st. So if you want to mark your calendar for that as well. So we'll drop in these events, the registration links, we'll drop them into the chat so you have access to that as well. All right, so enough for me. Let's move on to our featured company for today. So we have the Plastics Pipe Institute, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to David Fink. David, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Katie. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for your service to our country. And I'm excited to present a little bit more about the plastic piping industry in North America, and excited to have Kyle here from Lane to give some details on what it's like in the manufacturing world. For myself, I'm president of the Plastics Pipe Institute. 13 years prior to coming into this role, I did work as a pipe manufacturer with a company called WL Plastics. So quite familiar with the manufacturing process. Our member companies now within PPI, I need to update this slide. We're actually closer to 200 member companies now. This is a growing industry, which is great to see. Plastic piping materials are continuing to outpace traditional metals, concrete, coppers, etc. So a little bit about our organization. We have not only representation from the United States, but also memberships in Canada and Mexico. So I would say rough breakdown is probably 70% US, 20% Canadian, and the remaining 10% Mexican as far as it comes into who our members are. They are made up of pipe and fitting manufacturers. And again, Kyle is representing Lane Enterprises here today as a pipe manufacturer. We have equipment manufacturers. This is everything from what we utilize to actually melt the raw materials and form and make the pipe to how we put the pipe together. resin and concentrate manufacturers. So these are your big companies that you've probably heard of, like ExxonMobil, Dow Chemical, Chevron Phillips, etc. And then a number of concentrate manufacturers. The majority of our products that we represent tend to be black pipe, but you've probably seen some yellow gas pipe, maybe even some orange conduit going down the side of the road as they're plowing it in. We do also have downstream from our manufacturing some distributors. And then to round things out, we like to say retirement in our world is now called consulting because it doesn't seem like anybody ever goes away from this industry. And I think that just speaks to the passion that some of these individuals have. And also just the demographic that we have this huge wave of the baby boomers, if I can call it that, that are entering into retirement with a wealth of knowledge. So a lot of them are hanging out their shingle and becoming consultants. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So PPI is made up of 5 market-facing divisions. So this is everything from building and construction. This is hot and cold water plumbing, radiant floor heating, geothermal systems, which are becoming more popular for heating and cooling large campuses. A great project to mention is called the Tiger Project that Princeton University did in utilizing some of their steam to really heat and cool the entire campus. So energy efficiency, sustainability, lowering energy costs are a lot what building and construction is doing inside buildings. The other 4 divisions are really exterior. So your energy piping systems, this is everything from what you can see there in the picture, which is yellow medium density polyethylene pipe, which I know is a large term, but this is plastic pipe that is delivering natural gas to your home or to your place of work for everything from, heating your meals on your gas range to keeping your home comfortable, etc. This group also goes upstream. What I mean by that is this material can also be utilized into oil and gas gathering and all the water that gets moved around in the oil field industry. So a lot of great opportunities. This is an area that is back into growth with Drill Baby Drill in office. So I won't get into politics, but this is a segment that is fairly steady, but is now back growing again as the United States is working to become and has become now energy independent. Our drainage division, which Kyle's company is involved in, is both polyethylene and polypropylene corrugated pipe. So this goes into everything from roadway drainage. So think about when it rains and you're trying to drive down the highway, you want to keep your vehicle on the road. Well, that water has to go somewhere. So the road's sloped, it goes into these drainage pipes so that it can be pulled away and the roadways remain safe. Other applications include agriculture and other areas, but I don't want to steal Kyle's thunder, so I'll let him touch upon that. Our power and communications group, you can see there a pretty good picture of a number of different conduits that are actually getting plowed in. So this is your broadband to protect your fiber optic cable, your green energy like windmills and solar panels to protect that power cable. And actually, the big growth area these days is in the growth with AI. So all the Chat GPT and Copilot and everything else that we're all experiencing, if you have a Facebook page, LinkedIn, all this data needs to be held in the cloud. Well, it's actually not up in the cloud, as you all know. It's in a data center somewhere. The United States is planning to build over 1,000 data centers in the next 5 years. 1,000. These are massive buildings. The one being built out in El Paso, I understand, could host 17 football fields underneath its roof. So just to give you kind of a size of the girth and width of these buildings. They require a lot of plastic piping. So this is going to be a tremendous area of growth in addition to continued broadband growth. And then finally, our municipal and industrial division. It's a M on the water and wastewater side. That's the municipal side. And then the industrial is everything from fire suppression to mining, brine lines for industrial uses. So a lot of great work there. And the one thing that really helps plastics in all these applications and why we're growing faster than traditional metal materials is we're non-corrosive. So we can handle all the nasty chemicals and potable water to fiber optics, protect them without corroding. So the metal pipes really are challenged with that. So we're lower cost. We are very environmentally friendly, less energy to make, and also non-corrosive, so very limited maintenance over the lifetime of these products. So really exciting industry to be in. I've been in it for 30 years, and I think the next slide will get into some of the opportunities. Oh, I added this one in. So just on the sustainability standpoint, this is a great one. If you want to really watch the full video, go out to plasticpipe.org. We are taking single-use materials. So think your Tide detergent bottle or your Clorox bottle or your milk jug. We're able to grind it up and repurpose it and actually put it back into not only just corrugated plastic pipe, but we're also now exploring putting it into conduit for that protective conduit for fiber optics and power cables, etc. So this is a great way to where we can reuse something that had a single use, maybe 90-day shelf life, and put it into a piping material that's going to last literally for generations. So this is just a little bit of a pictorial on the importance of recycling. So if you have a blue bin, please use it wisely because companies like Cowles and others can take those materials and utilize them if they desire to in their piping products. So next, please.
Do you want me to play the video, David?
Sure thing. I think we have time. So this is just a quick animated video that we did just to give everybody a little bit of background. Go ahead, Katie.
Plastic is used everywhere. We wear it. We wash from it. And unfortunately, we throw away a lot of it. Like a lot. But when recyclable plastics are actually recycled, the same things that make plastic so challenging for landfills can be used to produce superior materials that will connect us to our future. But you have to look deeper. HDPE stormwater drainage pipe like this can be made using most recyclable containers. And it lasts for over 100 years. In fact, the plastic pipe industry uses over 600 million pounds of recycled plastics every year. It's like, whoa. With our underground infrastructure built using outdated materials, the need for HDPE sustainability, quality, and outstanding product performance has never been greater. When you make sure that your number 2 and number 5 plastics are recycled, not thrown away, you're helping to solve infrastructure needs now and helping make materials that connect us to our future. Visit plasticpipe.org to learn more.
Thank you, Katie. So just a cute little animation that we put together, useful for everything from school children to people making decisions at the municipal level or DOT level on piping products. So we can actually state that we are helping with the plastics disposable issue with our products. So just some examples of some career progressions that I wanted to point out. Our industry is one to where you don't graduate with a degree on how to make polyethylene pipe. That just doesn't exist out there in the world. So whether you want to get into manufacturing on the floor, there are opportunities to come in as a line operator. Those individuals tend to get promoted up through to shift supervisors with the right aptitude and desire to learn, potentially even production managers or plant managers. Again, this is a growing industry. We have several pipe plants being built every year across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And as you can imagine, if you're self-taught within these companies, if you develop a skill set, you're going to be given an opportunity for promotion if that's something you're interested in, and if you're able to meet with the requirements for those positions. Maintenance techs, highly sought after. So those that are electricians, etc. This is an area to where they're hard to come by. They're paid well. And there here again could be a succession plan of maintenance tech to supervisor to even production manager. For those of you that move a bunch of logistics around or moving freight or whatever, our shipping supervisors, shipping managers, customer service manager, these are how we get our piping products from our manufacturer to that customer, whether it's roadway drainage that's going to go out onto, I-635 here in Dallas and help with the new highway construction, or conduit that's going to get drilled in. All these products are shipped on flatbed trucks for the most part and are being delivered on a regular basis. So a lot of great opportunities if you're comfortable in that freight area and movement for opportunities. And then I know we have spouses on here as well. This is a great way too. There's a lot of admin opportunities. These tend to lead to customer service type positions. So I think there's a lot of great flexibility depending on what your appetite is and whether you want to be on the floor working with your hands or calling up trucks to see if you can get loads delivered to customers, or being on the phone and working in a customer service opportunity, or again, electrician and maintenance. A lot of really cool opportunities here because the equipment being utilized is progressing. One of the things that our equipment manufacturers are learning is that the current generation are entering the workforce likes to do things on iPads or phones versus turning knobs and pulling levers. So a lot of the equipment that's being produced now moving forward is more of a iPad push the button versus literally turning the crank, if you will, on the machine. So with that, I think that's probably near my last one. I will go ahead and turn this over to Kyle. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. Thank you, David. My name is Kyle Moser. As mentioned, I'm the recruiting manager here at Lane Enterprises. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of give you some background information on Lane as a company, some of our history, what we offer, why it's such a great company to work for and advance in, and just give you all that information and answer any questions that you might have. So go ahead. Getting into who we are at Lane Enterprises, 1934, 5 years after Black Tuesday, signaled the start of the Great Depression. Our founder, Ray Lane, he founded the company bearing his name in Bath, New York, to service a growing country. So over the next 90 plus years, this company has grown both in metal and plastic. Specific to our pipe systems, and kind of like what David was mentioning with drainage, both organically and just through acquisition, to become one of the largest manufacturers both in metal and plastic stormwater drainage solutions. So just gives you a little background information there on us as a company and over 9 decades basically here in the industry. Good. Okay, and then also kind of continuing on there, the vision of our founder, Ray Lane, we continue to serve the needs of our country's ever-growing infrastructure, while also emphasizing stability and longevity. Average years of service for our employees here at Lane is actually right around 10 years. We're talking 500-600 employees, where average tenure is at that 10-year range, some in the 25 to 40-year range. So some really long time employees here, which just demonstrates as a company that fosters long-term career opportunities and growth within and succession. Success, basically build upon the 3 core pillars that makes Lane a great place to build your civilian career. And just looking there, you see the 90 years as a trusted manufacturer, committed to innovation, service, quality, sustainability. We're always changing and doing what's needed to continue to grow. So just, kind of shows where we're at in the industry there. And go ahead. Employee ownership. So we are 100% employee owned company here at Lane. which means you have skin in the game, essentially. As an owner, you directly share in company profits and the growth of the company as well. You build retirement wealth, share and performance bonuses, which provides better job stability. Just like camaraderie in the military service, we have a shared mission, loyalty, and pride in having that ownership. So we're all invested in each other's success, building wealth and ultimately careers together. So that has a big effect on that long-term stability that I kind of mentioned before. So you're kind of looking through there. Customer service is top notch just because we all treat it. These are basically our products. We're all owners here at Lane, so that creates great customer service, long-term reliability with that incredible tenure here with our employees, which creates higher quality, efficiencies, and just that instead of looking at the short-term gains, you kind of get more of that long-term focus. You can move next. And just to give you a little bit background on our products here, kind of again, going back to what David was mentioning about our, us being in the drainage industry specifically. Broad product line provides comprehensive range of stormwater management products, which were engineered for performance, durability, and ease of installation. So from corrugated steel, corrugated plastic pipe to chamber products, structural plate solutions, and our products are designed to support infrastructure across a wide variety of applications. It's not just very specific, it's very broad. We offer unmatched options, perfect for problem solvers, just like yourselves there in the military. So you can go to the next slide. We do have a coast-to-coast presence here at Lane. We, kind of started out here on the East Coast, but through acquisition of the Pacific Pipe Company out west, we have expanded out into the West Coast. We've got locations all throughout. So basically, it's not just geography. It's about delivering scale without sacrificing responsiveness, essentially. Our customers get the best national strength. So you get the strength and expertise of a national brand, but also the care of kind of, more of like a local company. So you get kind of the best of both worlds there. And it's all under one trusted brand, which is Lane. And for you, it may mean the chance to, maybe work with family or friends, in a specific region, or potentially discover new opportunities and places you've never been to before, right? And kind of build a life and family there. We've got locations all throughout. We got Texas. I know we have a location in Temple, Texas, which isn't too far from Fort Hood. 25 minutes from there. So, I mean, there's just one example. But, wherever you're looking to go, we should have some sort of presence in those locations. And you can kind of see there on the map where we started branching out there on the West Coast. You can see those a couple locations there in Texas with Temple and Houston. And then just, along the Northeast. And now actually, a couple years ago, we built a plant in Alachua, Florida, so up towards that panhandle. And then you can go to the next slide. And why choose Lane as a career? This is it's not just a place to get a paycheck. I would say this is more of like a mission where your service and experience will shine. Okay. Your leadership skills would be recognized. Opportunities are all bound here. There's limitless opportunities to kind of grow. Again, going back on what David was saying as far as learning from the ground up, we've got maintenance departments, production, we've got office positions, driver roles, skilled trades where when you come in here and kind of work and work hard, you can level up within the company and have that long-term, 30 years with the company. So that's just, a little bit there of why ownership. That's another big part of it is being, an owner. You get stock in the company. You benefit from how well Lane does as a company. Um, that brings rewards as far as cash and just kind of, that feeling of being a part of something greater. Um, so that's, that's what all that brings and what we promote at Lane. So that's just really it there on kind of, what makes Lane different and, a great company to work for. And that's it. I mean, I don't have too much else. I definitely will take questions if you have any, but want to thank everyone for your service to the country. And if you have any interest in even learning more about Lane, I'm the recruiting manager here. I will be able to take any emails or calls and work with you if you are interested and give you all the details that you'll need. So I have my email there. You can reach me out at kmoser@Lane Enterprises. I'll be sending out an email later on this week, just thanking everyone for their time. And that's another way you could reach me is just shoot me an email if you have any interest. Okay.
Thank you, Kyle. And we do have a question right off the bat before I get into my questions regarding your driver roles. So you had mentioned the need for drivers. What does that
Yeah.
look like? And I'm guessing, is it local, regional, cross country? Like, what do driver roles look like?
Yeah, they're all local, so you're home each day. It's not overnight, driver positions or over OTD. Um, these are specific, so we have locations in Boston, Small, New York, where I know we have active needs there. But they're all going to be specific to locations that we have. So, we have Statesville, North Carolina. Just about all of our plants they'll have kind of those CDL type driver needs. So, CDL is going to be a big part of that, but good attitude and everything is also what we're looking for. But home daily, good hours Monday to Friday, typical, work hours with chances for overtime and things like that.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. Do you mind if I go back to your location slide and
Yeah,
talk through? Because I know it's hard to see maybe if someone's on a smaller screen. So if you don't mind talking through maybe, from coast to coast, what are those states
for
um,
sure. Yeah.
on this one?
Yep, so you can see up in Washington. So we're up. We have a presence in Longview there, and basically we have territories of sales reps who kind of cover that Washington area. You got Eugene, Oregon, just below that. Same kind of deal. Plant facility there with reps and production and forklift and maintenance teams. California, we have up in Sacramento, and then down in Irvine and Fontana. You can see there over in Casa Grande, Arizona, we have a location, which also, again, sales reps, office clerks, the same deal there. Texas, we have our Temple location, and then we just opened a yard in Houston. So that's basically just housing all of our pipe. So it right now is just a yard, but we are, it's a brand new yard. We're hiring forklift operators. This is going to be more of a long term, but there's going to be a lot of needs there for that yard. Yard supervisors, laborers, loaders, things like that. Maybe truck drivers at some point. We go over to Alachua, Florida there, which is our newest facility. So that was just built a couple years ago. So it's a brand new facility. It's beautiful. That's providing a lot of good opportunities as well if you're up in that area. As far as maintenance, so that's a big maintenance technicians, electrician, production supervisors, ops managers, things like that, forklift and everything there as well. And then you can see up in, we got a presence in Tennessee and South Carolina, or sorry, North Carolina, Statesville location there, another yard or a plant location. Virginia, we have a few locations. You can see there's Dublin, Bealton, and now of course it's yeah, there it is, Dublin as well, and Wytheville. So, and then where we kind of originated up in Bath, New York, you can see there we have Boston Spa, near Albany and Schenectady and those territories. And then here in Pennsylvania is where we actually have our corporate headquarters. That's where I'm based out of, which is Camp Hill, near Harrisburg, so if you're familiar with that area. We've got a few different plant locations in Pulaski and Bedford, King of Prussia near Philadelphia. And Shippensburg and Carlisle, where we have some more of our powder coatings, products there.
Thank you, Kyle. That's helpful for you to explain it and kind of go from the gamut because or may not know, but service members often are, going all over the country and they
Yeah,
scatter from their
yeah.
locations. So perfect. Question, David, I'm going to pass it over to you because this is Lane and their map, but obviously, 200 member companies, 70% are in the United States. On the PPI website, can you explain, is there a list of companies? Is there a map of locations? How does that work if maybe these locations don't work with folks, but they want to stay in the industry? Can they go to your website?
Yes, so if you go out to the plasticspipe.org site, go under About PPI, you can see a full list of our member companies. That list has a live link. So if you were to click on Lane, for example, this would pop up. Not this slide, but Lane's opportunity would pop up. So out of our 200 member companies, they all have live links. We do not have a holistic map of all the locations that our members participate in, but I would hazard a guess that between our manufacturers and our distributors, we probably have a location in every state, including Alaska and Hawaii. So, and in Canada, mostly the southern provinces, and then down into Mexico. So, if you're looking for a specific geography, feel free to reach out. I might be able to point you in the right direction, but you know, I would suggest maybe just kind of poking around on our site and looking through those member companies. Many member companies have a map, like Kyle has shared with you here, when you go into their About section or their History section. So a little bit of internet research goes a long way. And I'm a big AI fan. I'm using it more and more, and I ask ChatGPT or Copilot a lot of questions these days. So, I mean, feel free if you have that at your fingertips to just say, hey, where are the plastic piping manufacturers in XYZ city? And see what comes up and then search them out on our website. Most of our members also on their links will have a contact us, if not a hiring site. So if you're looking to put your resume forward or learn more about that company, I would highly suggest you get on their site and reach out to them.
Awesome. Thank you, David. And that's great advice, especially for those of you who are just starting your journey in career exploration. Utilize AI because then you're not trying to pick through websites everywhere. Sometimes work smarter, not harder. And that's really good advice, especially if you're interested in this industry to narrow it down that way as well. So I appreciate that. I do have another question for Kyle. So the Temple location is going to get a lot of questions because we do have a local site right there.
Right.
Someone had mentioned that there's no positions currently listed, but if someone was interested in the site, can they reach out to you and maybe would you know if openings were coming soon and be able to help facilitate that conversation?
Absolutely. Yeah. So at the moment, yeah, I don't think we have anything, but reaching out to me, that's going to at least get you, eyes on your interest. And I can at least point you in the direction if I know there's a position that's going to be open or potentially down, in the pipeline. I can let you know about that and give you kind of an idea of when you should be looking and applying for that position. So kind of like what I said, I'm going to send out that email. I'm going to include Lane's website, which does have an About Us tab at the top right. So if you go to that, you'll be able to see all of our career. You'll go to the careers page and see all of our openings that way. You can also go to our locations from that tab. which is basically a map that you're seeing right now. That you can hover over each, location, see exactly where it is. It just gives you more information on each of those locations. So when I send that email out, I'll make sure I have all that information there, so it's pretty easy to follow.
Thank you. And I definitely recommend you all, if you're interested in Lane, use Kyle. That's why he's here. This is
Yeah.
having access to an industry leader right at your fingertips, and he's giving you his email address. So definitely use him. Another part of that question was he had mentioned, or the class had mentioned, talent pools or talent communities. So for those service members who are not familiar, some companies have what's called a talent community where you can upload your resume and be part of this community. So then if jobs become available, they will contact you, right? Because they have your resume already in the system. Kyle had mentioned you emailing him your resume. Kyle, do you guys have a talent community or talent pool, or are you the talent pool?
I essentially am the talent pool there. So I would say just if there's any hesitation or you're not sure, reach out to me and I'll give you all the information on where we're at there. I can hold your resume. I can keep things here saved so we can always come back to you. And once that opening is available, um, happy to have as many applications and qualify or just interested candidates at our fingertips. So I would just say, if you want to get noticed or want to, potentially join Lane, reach out to me, send me your information. We'll work with you.
Hey, Katie, if I could just
Yeah.
quickly, Texas is probably our most populated state where it comes to manufacturers in our industry. It is due to everything from West Texas oil field work to the growth that Texas is experiencing. When you're building houses, you need water pipe, sewer pipe, fiber optics coming into the house for broadband. There are manufacturing locations literally pretty much in every major city and in the suburbs. So Dallas, Houston, Temple, Bowie, Texas, Lubbock, you name it. So if there's folks that are wanting to stay in Texas, there's a lot of opportunity in the state of Texas in this industry.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, I do have a question because Kyle, you had mentioned sales reps when you're kind of going through the locations, and I
Mhm.
think a lot of folks don't associate, sales rep with manufacturing. They're like, that's not. We think
Right.
production, not all these other roles that could happen with manufacturing companies. So that could be an option based on transferable skills that someone might have. Can you explain what does a sales rep do at a
Yeah.
plastic pipe company like Lane?
Yeah, so sales rep, and there's actually multiple categories of sales reps that we have. We have inside sales, and then we have our outside sales reps, but we have their title is just sales rep. So the inside sales team is essentially a sales support to our outside sales team. And the sales come from just literally getting our pipe, our products out into, the customers on the radar. So we're networking. We're working with different agencies, ASHTO, ASTM, count engineers, and basically just becoming the experts on our corrugated steel and plastic pipe and understanding how to do different takeoffs as far as getting a work order or someone who's interested in quantifying how much pipe they need and how big or how small and going from there. So basically you're going to be selling and promoting our products, our pipe to our customers as far as the sales reps go. Out in the field, visiting, that's what they're getting our presence out there. So that basically someone who's qualified for that is, you're able to learn our products, but have that personability and willingness to go out and meet different people and cold call and just market. And then when the inside sales reps, they're basically just the second hand to that sales rep. They're out in the field, they can't take a call, they can't help with customers' questions because they're busy networking. Our inside sales reps will take those calls, answer all their questions as far as the quantities and quotes and pricing and all that stuff, and basically keep those customers happy and not waiting and creating that. So yep, that's where our sales and there's different locations as I had mentioned throughout our footprint here for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. That's definitely positioned those transferable skills. There's a lot of people who are people, you know what I mean? And just
Yeah.
want to have that customer service relationship. And if you're passionate about the industry, passionate about working with folks, it could be a really great fit regardless of your background. That's more of your skill set that you have. Talking about skills and direct relationship to positions, maintenance techs was brought up both by David and you as maybe some positions that are interesting, or not interesting, but are needed by
Yeah.
both, actually interesting and needed by the industry. And someone in the class in the chat had asked, what types of automated systems do your technicians and engineers use within production? So are there automations that have been built into the production line? And then do your employees get involved in things like process improvement and Six Sigma projects?
Yeah, certainly as far as the Six Sigma projects and continuous improvement and having the black and green belt and all that, we really are big on that within our manufacturing facility. So that's a big one. As far as automated, software and things, I'm not the expert on that. I know we do have, technicians using like AutoCAD, right? So computer aided design applications, things like that, which are specific to, within engineering. I would say someone with that question, reach out to me. I'll get all that information for you and kind of go from there. But off the top of my head, I can't, other than that kind of AutoCAD and some of that, design and some blueprint stuff, I can't say for sure.
David, do you want to reiterate what you had put in the chat as well about
Yeah,
other member companies?
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Katie. Yes, there is a tremendous area for growth when it comes to automation, whether it be Six Sigma, Kaizen, 5S, a lot of safety programs, safety in motion. These are things that our industry is developing. We're no longer, again, going out there and just turning bolts and nuts with wrenches. Things are becoming automated. This is everything from a need because of growth to also becoming more efficient. So, for example, if you go back to that slide where it had those coils of the different colored pipe on it, that coiling has been manual for years. And now we have automation that will allow you to do that there in the lower left-hand corner. So those automations not only allow the manufacturer to become more productive, but produce faster, safer. You're not having pinch points where hands are having to go in and kind of tie those off. So there's everything from robotics and automated equipment that's coming into the industry to some of the technologies that were mentioned. So and again, area of growth because our industry is at different levels. So there are those that haven't even started, and there are those that are quite proficient at it. So a lot of opportunities there.
Great questions, especially coming out of this Fort Hood class. You guys keep popping up. Um, I love that because, and then I also want you all, service members, to remember that maintenance techs may, you might be a mechanic in the military, you might not be, you might just be good with your hands, and they're interested in positions like that. With that being said, Kyle and David, what are some skill sets not only for maintenance techs, but maybe some of these key positions you're seeing? What are some of the transferable skills that really stick out to you and really you love to see on a resume when these applications are coming across your desk?
Yeah, I mean, just I would say outside because we are very we can be specialized in some of the positions we have as far as have it being an engineer who basically is within certain regions. You need that, you need your professional engineer certification. You got specific, degrees that you need. But as far as skills and transferable skills, if you have just that go-getter mentality, that show initiative and can take information, be coached and learn from that. I mean, that's the biggest thing I would say. We pride ourselves in again having that kind of that long-term employee who's invested. So if you're engaged, you're willing to learn, you're asking questions, things like that is what we're really looking for. Obviously, outside of some of those more specific type of roles that need that specialized training and education. Yeah.
Yeah, just to build on that, I think there are a lot of transferable skills that you've learned throughout your military service that will transfer. It's the simple things sometimes. You show up on time, you're ready to work, you're ready to listen, you're ready to learn. Our industry is going to teach you. And the faster you can learn, the faster you're going to get promoted. Our industry has transitioned from a time served, meaning, hey, you got to sit around for 2 years as a line operator before you can even consider being a shift supervisor, to all right, Cal, you've learned all the skills that are needed to become a shift supervisor. The next time there's an opportunity for one of those to open, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And that ladder or stair step, depending on how you want to look at it, typically comes with incremental compensation as well. So it tends to be an industry that is skill based, but we will teach these individuals. And as Cal outlined, unless it's a specific skill set, I would say 90% of it is going to be taught on the manufacturing floor or in the office for what is needed. And if you have a willingness to learn and listen and adapt and be flexible, this is a great industry. No day is the same. I would say that's a transferable skill set from military service. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of mundane days. There's always something new that challenges you. It's a rewarding career because as you look at these products that are on this screen, this is the lifeblood. We don't survive as an economy. We don't survive as human beings without the ability to drink water that's safe and flush our toilets and take showers and get rid of that's safe. I would challenge that my sons would tell you that the internet is a requirement these days for living, right? So broadband, safety with roadway drainage. So this is really something that connects you to everyday life. And again, a growing industry with a lot of opportunities.
To piggyback on that a little bit too is, it seems obvious just to say show up and be there each day and not just physically but mentally. Lane goes as far as to compensate you for being a good employee and showing up each day. So we have attendance bonuses where you show up every day that month on time, you're going to get a $250 bonus just for doing that. That we do retention bonuses at the end of the year. That's a $2,500 retention bonus just for staying with the company and showing that kind of that loyalty. So that kind of goes into that a little bit is we recognize that's not always a given and we want to kind of, reward you for that. And the more you do that, the more you're going to learn. You're going to build your skill sets under whoever you're working underneath, and that's where that growth comes. So, yeah.
And I would hazard a guess, if I could be so bold, Kyle, that retention is because our industry is growing so quickly that once you are taught this skill set, you are quite employable for other manufacturers in this field.
It helps
So
keep
I
our
would.
employees, yes. Absolutely,
So
yeah.
just to try to spin that to a positive for this group,
Yeah,
again, there are pipe plants being built every year. The typical scenario is the new plant manager was probably a production manager at a prior facility, and they're going to move over and get the opportunity to now be a plant manager, or plant manager from facility A goes to B, and the production manager is elevated. So there is a lot of opportunity for upside growth in this industry, and a lot of opportunity to get into some geographies, outside of Texas as well, with some of the growth that's going on. Because one of the challenges our industry has is we only can really ship our product about 500 miles. So you will find plants scattered all over the place. And if you want to ask me typically where they're at, look at a population density graph, because your water, your sewer, your broadband, your internet, your gas distribution is going to be close. Your highways are going to be close to those. That said, there's some locations that are fairly remote as well. So if you want to get out in the middle of nowhere, we may have a home for you there as well.
I love it. Kyle, I love the bonuses you had mentioned because these folks will come to realize as they're doing their job search, that's not common necessarily. So it's definitely a unique benefit that your company has that is very attractive, I think, to some folks, right? Speaking of, we talked about technical skills, kind of transferable skills. Kyle, at your company, answer for your company, and then David, kind of industry wide. So, as these folks are looking at job postings. They're going to see certain things that might be specific to the company or specific to the industry. And they might say, I don't have that. I don't qualify for this job. What is your piece of advice if these folks have most of the things on their job? On the job posting, they have those skills and experiences. What is your advice? Should they apply? Should they not? Should they ask you first? What do you typically recommend?
I'll always apply and just don't assume that you're not qualified, because that way, you get out in front of someone and have an actual conversation. There's been many times where we're looking through resumes and maybe they don't have, 5 out of 5 qualifications right on the resume that we see, and it doesn't mean we don't call them. Once we start talking and find out more, you very well could be that next hire. So I would say, again, going back to just personality too, and if we feel it's someone who can kind of learn and gain that knowledge, maybe they're missing, initially, we'll take that. We'll take that person and grow them. So. I would never just, hold off on applying just because you feel like I might not get selected, or maybe I don't fit exactly with what the description says. Always put your application in there. It's not going to hurt. And it could turn into an interview and an offer. Yeah.
David, are you
I
seeing
would
that?
agree with everything he said. Sell yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds overly simple, but this industry is truly looking for people that want to show up on time, put in an honest day's work, and learn. And there's opportunity to get promoted and move it up in this industry. We are competing against all the other manufacturers that are out there. And with the ability to make money driving Uber Eats, which I still don't understand how that's a living, but this industry is starving for talent. And I think again, all the transferable skills that you've learned in your service would fit you well in a manufacturing environment in this industry.
Yeah.
I love it. I love all the advice because we often get that concern with our service members that, oh, I don't qualify. I'm not going to apply. I mean, closed mouth doesn't get fed. If you don't ever ask or apply, the answer is always no. So let them tell you no and have that conversation because it could lead to another position that you didn't think of or even know that was available.
And
Another
let me
kind of
build on that
question. Oh,
quickly, Katie, if I could.
yeah.
Because this is something that used to be more prevalent that isn't today, is just the skill set of growing up and having mowed a lawn or driven a nail in a board or turned a wrench. There is a whole generation coming into the workforce now that's not done any of that. So just being able to work with your hands and some of those things that you've probably done, don't think that that's commonplace anymore. I mean, I grew up on a dairy farm. I'm part-time electrician, plumber, carpenter, you name it. My grandfather and father taught me a lot. That skill set is becoming more rare as people grow up with technology instead of in a rural setting. I know from our past manufacturing, if we could find some farm kids, if I can say it that way, they make great employees because they grew up with all these different skill sets. So just wanted to make that comment that just to really point out that you've probably had experiences in your military career where you've learned a lot more than what you think you have when you're competing against somebody that's graduating high school or college and they've never turned a wrench in their life. So,
Yeah.
Great
sorry,
advice.
Katie.
I love. Oh no, definitely. I love that. I know we're coming up on the last couple of minutes, so I just want to I want to ask Kyle some kind of HRE questions because these
Mhm.
folks may not understand, timelines and things like that. So,
Yeah.
they might be separating and ready to work next month. It might be 2 months, 6 months. What is your average? Like, if I apply today, what is my timeline to then start my position?
Yeah, and that all depends on the position and obviously those kind of factors. But I would say on a given position, once we get that posted, you apply, and we set up interviews from there. I mean, it's typically interviews will take maybe a couple weeks. Sometimes we do follow-up interviews just to determine if we do have a few that we really like, maybe it goes into a second round interview. So I would say all together, and then you get an offer. We like to put it out 2 weeks from an offer date, or work with you with whatever your notice, requirements are. Um, So all said and done, it's typically about 3 to 4 weeks. But again, we've had much faster turnarounds if we have, very much a need that needs filled. We will be proactive and set up those first, second round interviews in the same week if you're able to do it, get an offer out, and then work with you on that start date. So we've started someone who's applied and interviewed within basically a week and a half. We've also allowed those who have gotten an offer to give, a good 4 or 5 week notice for their employer who's maybe taking a big blow, losing them. So, we work with our candidates, our new hires. So it's a nice smooth transition. You're not rushed in, or pushed out down the road, at a convenient time for us. Um, so it all kind of depends on the situation, the location, the position itself, but we're very flexible in those timelines.
Yeah, just to quickly build on that, I've seen hires in this industry as quick as 24 hours after application, because there's a immediate need. Now, it may be a lower end entry level position, but typically, it varies in our industry whether you need to pass a physical or,
Right.
provide UA or anything else just to make sure you're drug free. But I've seen applications submitted and people on the floor the next day learning to do what they need to be doing.
Yeah.
So, to Cal's point, it kind of depends on where your entry level point is in an organization, what your skill set is, what the individual company's requirements are. But we get you through OSHA training on the manufacturing floor within a couple of days. You're probably shadowing somebody that is doing the job, and then they're going to shadow you. I've seen unique situations to where you have a different colored safety vest for the first couple weeks on the job just to identify that you're a newbie. It's not picking on you. It's just so that other people are looking out because we are our brother's keeper. So yeah, it really varies.
Yeah, and a lot of that is our physical, doing the physicals, and we do require drug screen and background screen to clear. So, a lot of that extra time is just kind of waiting on that to come back. So, if those come back really fast, we're ready to get you started the next day if we have a seat ready and everyone's there ready to go. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I love all this advice, and I would hate to wrap it up, but we're already almost out of time. So, are there any final questions from the group before I close it out today? You can even raise your hand and ask the question live or throw it in the chat. So I'll give you all a few seconds to do that. In the meantime, I'll just thank Kyle for coming here and giving us such a great overview of your company and the different locations and jobs and all the things. But most importantly, offering yourself and your time to these folks if they're interested. So definitely take advantage of that. You have his email address. Send him a quick note, have a conversation. I definitely recommend, and Kyle, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but maybe have a conversation before applying to make sure that you're applying for correct roles. If there's anything specific that, maybe you need to highlight on your resume that you didn't previously. Kyle, is that correct? That maybe it's good for them to reach out to you first before applying
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can, if you don't, that's fine too. But it will help to let me know that you are applying and where your interests lay. And maybe I can determine if there's another position that's lateral or makes sense, if that other one doesn't. So I would say probably reach out to me. Just it doesn't hurt, and I can steer you in the right direction. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you, David, for explaining the industry. I think it's one of those where everyone's like, "Let's do pipes, we need them, but no one really thinks about who makes them." So I think your just overall industry explanation was fantastic. Anything from the two of you that you want to say to the group before we close out?
Just again, thank you for your service, and we're here as resources. And Katie, as always, pleasure doing these with you. So thank you for setting this up with your team.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you inviting me to talk about Lane. So I do appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. And thank you to all of our service members that were here today. I hope that you consider the plastics pipe industry and Kyle's company with Lane Enterprise. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to him. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. Explore websites, connect, keep the conversation going after today. But other than that, have a good rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you next time. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.